it does. I think
they do.
If I were to actually give them all like a theme, I think it is like, what do you do with your inheritance? Like whether it be land, whether it
that's
be
true.
culture,
That's true.
Yeah.
like literal memories that you are stepping into. It's just like all three of these are kind of like dealing with the things
identity and inheritance.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right, welcome back to the Fade to Black podcast. Where we talk about Black cinema and whatnot. But today, this is our Holy Trinity of Black TV episode, and we're going to be talking about different things. So I am Imani, and I will be bringing to the table season 3, episode 9 of the hit FX TV show Atlanta. And Sunny, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, so my name is Sunny, and I am bringing to the table Random Acts of Flyness, cross it out, Acts of Flyness for season 2, episode 5, The Fifth Dimension, the Parable of the Pirate and the King. Crazy. What you bringing, David?
Hey, yo. Hey, it's me, David Dunnington, Dunnington. I'm talking about episode 6 of the hit TV show Watchmen, hit miniseries Watchmen, starring Regina King.
Where's the first place you take your cousin after you get out of jail?
Why did the 5 Heartbeats break up?
Your mama or your mother?
I have a right to keep it. It's my legacy.
A gun in your hand, a Bible in the other, your life on the line, imprint of enslavement.
You should so proud of your legacy. Why'd you hide it?
The trauma of 200 years of chattel slavery coded in your nervous system.
All right, enough of the warm-up. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Word.
Great. I'm like, these are all very very, very different episodes that we're bringing up here. So I guess I'll start. So this episode is called Rich Wigga, Poor Wigga. Do either one of you want to walk us through a brief synopsis of this episode?
All right, so I'm just like explaining this to the guy at the bar. All right.
Yes, you at the bar with a homie.
Light-skinned mixed bull is like, doesn't claim to be black. He's got his dad's real dark skin for how white he looks, so maybe his mom's just like extra, extra, extra white. They never show his mom, but he's this very mixed logic, Sean King looking, very white looking mixed kid. And
passing
with the soup.
And he plays this weird Call of Duty game where he like got a flamethrower and he argues with these dudes online and they say slurs at each other. And then at his high school, he's dating this girl. She's going to this college, ASC, and he can't afford to go. And she's got accepted, and he wants to go with her. And he's jealous because all these guys are also going, and he feels left out, and he can't afford to go, and his dad's giving him a hard time, yada, yada. So then this man comes to their high school named Robert S. Lee. They go to Robert E. Lee High School, but his name is Robert S. Lee, and he owns like a shea butter company, and he's played by Kevin Samuel, which is a crime. I know it's a joke. It's like a meta joke. It's hilarious, but Kevin Samuel was a
harmful individual.
Sorry, someone's moving a suitcase. Bad. I don't fuck with Kevin Samuels, but he was really good in this. But yeah, this guy's like, I'm gonna pay for all of the college tuition of every black senior, and then this half
of every
white
senior who's black,
every senior who's black, and then all the white kids are mad, and then this mixed kid is like, wait, I have an opportunity now. And he goes in front of I might just explain the whole goddamn story. Is this too much?
No.
Yeah, I mean, you're going through the synopsis. Yeah, that's what you're telling the homie at the bar.
All right, so then he goes into this like panel of niggas that are like George Wallace and and Kevin Samuels and some other guy, and and he's like got to prove how black he is to this panel. Also, I'm sorry, the opening of this panel with like people auditioning to like look black, and it's got all like these like Indian and Mexican kids like singing Shy. And he's like,
yes.
I'm like, did you see the two Asian kids who were like trying to be the Outcast album cover?
That was so funny when he was like, could you wave check me real quick?
If I could just like sprinkle a little bit on top, I'm like, the reason why we see all these things happening is because they said that they're talking about blackness as like a culture. As like a socio-political identifier, and not necessarily just because you got two parents. So that's why there is a panel, and why there's people auditioning and people who think that they could slide in and while we're doing our wave checks. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, and then he goes in, he fails, he's mad, he goes and decides he's going to burn the school down, and then another dark-skinned black kid goes over there, and he's like, yeah, my parents from Nigeria, and he said I wasn't black enough, and they're both trying to burn the school down, and then they both want to burn each other down, and they attack each other. They have like this crazy chase with this. I should also mention this film is in black and white and has this sort of like classic cinema feel to it, which is awesome because it's like I love the modern time classic feel thing. But they're chasing each other to this crazy like Brennan, like music, like very it's like Psycho movie. Or something.
Like, yeah, Hitchcock.
And the dark-skinned dude has the upper hand, gets shot by the cops. They both get arrested. Kevin Samuels' character comes over and says, getting shot by the cops is the blackest thing you can do in America. And then gives him a check for his college tuition. Light-skinned kid is crying. Years later, he's on his Drake shit. He's trying his best to make those waves happen. But he's got way more sauce because he's black. And it kind of is a funny, weird little... Like, are they just saying he's got more sauce now because he's black? That song at the end, I don't know. He sees his ex-girlfriend at, like, his job at Target or something, and he's way presenting more black. He's hitting on a black girl. He's constantly brushing his hair. He's talking, you know, with much more black vernacular than before. And he's risen this girl up. He's like, you know... talk to the one girl, and then his ex sees him, and she's like, you know, how you doing? He's like, you know, it's whatever. And then he goes like, you know, I ain't never been more attracted to you in my life. And she's like, oh my God. And then it plays the music. He looks at the camera. Every black person, when they saw that, busted out laughing.
Yes.
Scream. There's no black person that didn't go like, bah!
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like this episode. There are many episodes of Atlanta, like where I'm like, Donald Glover was definitely at his computer, like geeked, just like
yes.
I'm sure he had himself on the ground because this episode is so audacious, and it was written and directed by him.
Yes,
I would have loved to be on set that day because I'm sure people were holding laughs.
But also, I'm sure it was awkward too, because I'm just like,
yeah,
it's always in those rooms where like it's going over somebody's head to some degree.
I would have been
you
dead. Know? No, I would have been dead. There ain't no awkwardness on my part. I would have been on the ground. Sorry if you don't get it. If you know, you know. It is what it is. But cool. Thank you, David, for that description.
Yeah, sorry it was so long.
Oh no, I mean like there's. Yeah, I'm like, this episode is just wild. Rich Wigga, poor Wigga. So yeah, like you said, it's in black and white, which is like very. I don't think there are any other black and white episodes like in the
not
series.
The whole series.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. So it's like the only one. And like from the beginning, it's like in the season where it's like we're switching from like the Atlanta storyline to like these vignettes of white stories. You know, we're getting white stories. Through Atlanta, and this is one of them, kind of. So I thought it was funny. I guess, what do you think Donald Glover, so what do you think Donald Glover is trying to say with this episode?
I think the whole panel in the question of like Blackness as a culture and a concept is kind of like the point, and just trying to examine it from a lens of like it's not just Black people be doing, but like what is everybody's actual interpretation of what that means? Like what does it mean to like actually navigate in Black spaces as not quote unquote a Black person, like to still have this Nigerian student who's being excluded from Blackness, but then still be seen Black in the eyes of the cops, because like as to Chet Hanks's point, he's like, why would you not freeze when they say freeze? And his dad is like, because they don't say freeze until after they shoot, and it's not something that he even got to witness until being put in that situation where they gave him a chance to breathe, but not this other student.
Do you think that situation had anything to do with the identity switch? Or do you think that he was just like, now that he couldn't fit in with his white friends, he was like, I'm gonna go identify with Black people? Or do you think that is what caused it? Like, was that a light
I don't
bulb
know
for
if
him?
it was the shooting so much as it is the check. I think he's probably so butthurt that he can't afford to go into college, that he didn't do anything to like get himself there, and there's no money waiting for him, and that he can't apply to scholarships for diversity, and he got put into a situation where it was like truly proven, and so I think that became the switch of like, if I want to be seen, if I want the privileges, if I am going to like try to reap the benefits of Blackness, quote unquote, then I need to like fully live it and be seen as Black, because he had the answers to all of the questions, but it's like, but you don't live and breathe it. It's just like, just because you read a book on Black culture does not make you a Black person.
What about, okay, so then you said that like he is more upset that he he can't get these scholarships to go to school, but at the same time, like earlier in the episode when he's trying to fill out his like his problem is his dad won't fill out his FAFSA. Like his dad is doing the very Black parent thing of like, nah, you ain't going to school on loans, but also like, I don't know what FAFSA is, you're not filling out FAFSA, and it's like, you need FAFSA to even get scholarships. Like you can't get a scholarship without FAFSA.
You gonna figure it out?
Like, you gonna figure it out, save how much you save, and it's like $4,000, which is impressive. It's like, damn, you save $4,000 for school, but shit, school $50. So it's like, so it's like it's like he is also credit. It's like, yeah, it's like his parent, and it's interesting that we only see the Black parent, right? Like it is what is holding up. It's like, truly, like if his dad filled out that FAFSA, he probably could have went to that school with all his white friends and continued living his like white passing life, and it's like, even that, I feel like he even has that struggle of like, his dad doesn't want to fill out his FAFSA, and he goes to like this white school with these white ass friends, and that's not even something he can share with them, where he can be like, yeah, my dad won't fill out my FAFSA. It's like he's even ashamed of that, like, and it's like, here you are like living this very, again, yeah, it's identity. It's like, here you are living this very real life, and it's like, if you talk to some Black people, they probably been like, oh yeah, like my mama won't fill up my FAFSA either. You know what I mean? You would have found some camaraderie, but like, he's aligning himself with these white people, and with these issues, who don't understand the problems that he has, and it's like building up this animosity towards Black people, when it's like, dog, it's you, like you were like just faking it, but yeah, that's why I'm like, that ending is so interesting, because I'm like, is it a reactionary of like, let me go live this Black ass life, or was that maybe the first time where he was embracing maybe that side of himself?
But it makes me wonder if it's just like seeing somebody get a check, or just like let's say like your Black card, like Kevin Samuels is like, you've made it into the club, my brother. Like, is it just knowing that like there's something that you can do to like
to change that?
Yeah, and so I'm just like, I wonder if maybe if that's the thing, because I don't think he wants to be shot, like I don't think he's looking for that Black experience, but he is like looking for acceptance.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing too, is like the acceptance part. He's trying to get accepted into a school. He wants to be accepted by his friends. He wants to be accepted first as like maybe a white person, and then as a black person. It is just like trying to feel in a community, and then when all else fails, he picks the black one.
Yeah, yeah, and it's too. It's like his dad even makes a comment in the beginning, where it's like when they're talking about that shooting that happened at the mall, and his dad is like, "That's why I don't like you hanging out with your friends in DeKalb," and like DeKalb County is black, it's a black county, and you know, so it's like, but it's like he was even raised though to, you know what I mean, to not even embrace, like his dad is saying stuff like that, like I'm sure his dad says other things to him, and so it's like he's also being raised to like embrace his white side more, but at the same time it's like his dad like picks on him in the car, like, I know where you get that nose from, you know. It's like,
I think mostly the big thing is that his dad's a dick.
His dad is a dick. His dad's an asshole. Yeah.
He's like, I want you to get pulled over just so you can see. But it's like, sir, you know it's not going to be that, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it's like this disconnect that is happening, I feel like, for a lot of parties involved in this episode. And maybe I love that African panel. I also like that black panel. I'm like, that had me dead. Them saying like, you don't have a black friend, because if you had a black friend, they would have told you not to come in here. It's like,
yep. And that's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, this man out here with the full swoop, you know?
Yes.
Because like when he cuts his hair, it's like a nice little buzz cut. Like he's got a soft buzz. I don't know. You talk about him trying to get these waves, and I'm just like, it would never wave. Just he's gonna brush it back into the swoop.
He's trying.
It's just the gesture. It's like, I don't even think you know what you doing here. You just think you just doing it. Yeah, but somebody, Lord Jesus, would have helped him. I don't know. I don't have anything else to add. I lost the train of thought.
I'll just say the lead. Sorry.
Oh no, go for it.
I'll say the lead actor was phenomenal. I think his name is Tyreek.
Shout out to Tyreek.
It's funny that he looks like that. His name is, I mean, not looks like that. He's a black man. His name is Tyreek.
You know, I'm like,
Tyreek Withers.
Tyreek Withers. All right, Tyreek.
Shout out to Tyreek Withers. You snapped. You did the thing. Good job. It's also a very vulnerable role to do. And I think with stuff like that, like when you're saying like, how are people not laughing and certain things, like the same thing with like an intimacy coordinator, I feel like there's this sort of like kind of like HR sort of, because like if you're like laughing at actors, obviously like they're gonna get insecure and then they can't do their shit and they're gonna get mad and fussy, so then everybody's probably like shut the fuck up, like on set, you know what I mean? There's some of that, or there's like, you know, if you like do something inappropriate, you're gone. Like if you laugh, you're gone. Like, like obviously on a comedy. This is a comedy show.
Yeah, I was like, this is a comedy, and there are very clear jokes that they are setting up.
Yeah, but I guess it's more like when it's like vulnerable moments or something. You know what I mean? Like when it's, I don't know. There's moments that like could be funny filming it, but are meant to be vulnerable. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Anyway, that's just a weird tangent.
I was just going to say there are like diversity, equity, and inclusion officers or folks who are on set to like create that safe space for all kinds of people.
For all parties.
Yeah. And then they have like, that's at least what we did in a couple of these like theater rooms since the 2020 outbreaks. And it does feel helpful, but there's like affinity spaces, and we could talk about race and acknowledge like what everybody's dynamics and power struggles are here, and that's where I'm like, I don't know, I feel like on set you probably had a lot of people cackling because they get it, and then you have the people who are participating in the joke because they know it's for the culture and it's gonna make a difference, but they still don't get the joke, and they're like, it's okay, I don't have to know, I'm just glad I could be part of the movement.
I love when Donald Glover directs an episode. I know he's on his weird Google AI stuff right now, which I don't care for. It's probably this might be my least favorite phase of him currently. However, I really want him to write and direct a feature film released theatrically. I want him, even if it's just one. Like I know he's on his TV, he gets on his TV grind, but I really want to see what a full length feature directed, maybe co-directed by Hiro Murai. I like them as a film duo, as a visual duo. I kind of can't separate them. Even if he is directing something, Christian Springer is the DP's name, or Christian Spencer or Christian Springer. He's the DP of all of it, most of Atlanta, and he almost always works for Hiro Murai. So they always have that consistent look. But like I said, I mean, love the old look, love the old film look, love the music. It was fantastic.
Why do you think they shot it in black and white?
I mean, he's literally black and white.
I mean, yes. And
I think that was, I do think like it was like, it's this, rich Wigga, poor Wigga story. But also like, I think specifically too, when it gets to that, like the third act, when they're like there with the flamethrowers, like here to burn this shit down. And it's like, even like the music in that scene, it's like, it's giving horror film. And I do think that was part of it. Like, I think it was at least there. It made me feel like, oh, so this is like a villain origin story, like where this is meant to feel scary. And then, Atlanta, I feel like always disarms you. Whenever you think you know where it's about to go, it like disarms you into like, nope, we're gonna go here now. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I like that it was filmed in black and white, and it also made him like, I feel like, blend in more with the white people.
Oh, 100%.
That's what I was thinking. It made me wonder if like part of it is to like take out the color of the conversation, even though like we are talking about race, but like race and not ethnic or like skin tone. Because even like when we're talking about like murder in Harlem, and it was like, it took me a second to realize that this was a black man, And I feel like in this situation, like if we had gotten to see what he actually looked like, then the debate would really be like the paper brown bag test instead of like him
passing as white.
Exactly. So I just also thought that was just like a really interesting element to like truly make it about the concepts and not the skin color.
The idea of color, of blackness, rather than the phenotype of blackness. Right.
Yes, that's what I meant. Ethnic. I don't know where that was. I was like, ethnicity versus race. Yes.
And then I guess my last question before we move on to our next episode. This idea, when he does, the character, when he does show up to the school with a flamethrower ready to burn all this shit down, he runs into an African student who his parents are from Nigeria. He grew up in Lithonia, which is in DeKalb County. He's like, I moved here when I was a kid. I don't even remember Nigeria, but I got denied because he said I'm not black. And then homie being like, I mean,
sir,
they're not wrong. I don't know. What did you guys think? Like, that also had me. I laughed. But like,
it was funny.
It was funny. But this idea again, like of like black. Now we're like getting even more specific into like Black American culture versus like the diaspora of blackness. Like all these hoops that everyone is trying to like jump in. Like he was trying to jump into the I'm not biracial, I'm black hoop, and then him, it's like I don't know.
It does feel like Black American culture, like blackness is first like placed upon you, like whiteness is a giant assimilation bubble, and it was created to make blackness its own assimilation bubble, and then there's like black people who are trying so hard to differentiate and create the distinction between themselves in the same way that white people kind of do, but like it's still all within these giant like idea bubbles. But it feels like because that is so rooted in like the American racist struggle, that's probably why I'm currently thinking that Black people try to gatekeep so much on this land, because they're just like, well, this is still like the American Black experience. Like, you don't understand how we have been treated. This is part of our culture. But in reality, it's like you are black because you are seen as black to the outside eye. And so if we're gonna nitpick within the bubble, then I don't know, it feels more harmful to do so, to exclude people from the black experience, because the black experience is in opposition to the other than it is. Yeah, I don't know. But that's where the train is leading.
I guess I definitely feel like I think it's making me realize that it's two separate conversations being had. It's like you have one group that's like, I'm black because of the color of my skin, and then you have another group that's like, no, when I say black, that's not what I mean. And so like I don't think necessarily like it's I think the problem then becomes it's like I think there needs to be more specificity applied to, like, you know, the culture is Black American culture, even though I feel like still like it's like we all share like similar things. It's like Black American culture still shows similarities to like Caribbean, or like black people in the Caribbean, or black people in Africa, or black people in the UK, you know. But yeah, you know, I just think that I guess we're lacking specificity in the conversation when we're talking about blackness, because like this episode specifically is very much about, you know, are you black in terms of Black American culture rather than skin color. And I think a lot of people, that's what they mean, and they don't say that. And maybe that's what this episode is trying to point out, is like, this is what you mean, and because you're not saying what you mean, it's like causing all this other confusion and chaos everywhere else. And it's all because we're not talking about the same thing.
But even like the idea of like anti-blackness existing like all over the globe, there's still always like a distinction between like American blacks and like different types of blacks. But then in outside places, like that seems to matter more than it does in our country. Because at least I'm thinking about like I think we were talking about Italy at some point, and how there's like this a culture of friction between like Ghanaian immigrants and Italians, and so to have like Black Americans come over and initially be looked at as Ghanaian individuals, and it's like, I'm gonna give you a side eye until I hear you talk, and it's like, oh, now I can relax.
Like, because you're American.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, I recognize that you're a different kind of black. So like that makes a difference. And or even like me in Ghana, we're talking about like being misidentified. I'm still a white woman, quote unquote, in this space. Like I am seeing literal white children walk through a mall, and I can point out to somebody, I'm like, you see, this is what white people actually look like, and they're like,
yeah, that's you.
Yeah, I don't see the difference. And I'm like, I'm confused.
You know, and I think that's interesting too, because it's like, what's her name? The singer Tyla? I always want to call her Tyla, right? And she's like South African, and she's like, I identify as colored, because that's how it works in South Africa. And it's like, I think it was Trevor Noah who specifically like talked about like the system of racism in South Africa and how it's unique but similar, right, to America. It's like in America, it's like we had the one drop rule. So it's like, yeah, if your grandma black, then you black. Like it don't matter what happened with your parents, but it's like if you have one drop of black in you, you black. But at the same time, that line also moves because it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna overlook your blackness. But it's like, but that was enlisted here in America because that was more that gave more advantage to the white population, right? So it's like, you know, if there are more white people here than there are black people, it doesn't matter if like I count you towards black because your population is being oppressed anyway, but I don't want you being seen like me. But it's like in South Africa, it was different, right? Because you have this majority black population with a small white population. And so when it's like when you have biracial individuals, it's not necessarily like advantageous anymore for you to be like one drop, oh, you black, because that population's already so big. But also because we're racist, I don't want you to look at yourself as me. So now we create this third class of people, race of people who are colored. And it's like all of us, all three of us would be considered colored in South Africa. You know what I mean? Even though like here in America, we can just say we're black and no one's going to like side eye us for the most part.
Right.
And so, yeah, I just don't think like, it's like just in America, we just don't have that concept of like biracial identity or any mixed race identity mixed with black, like being its own thing. It's like the automatic default is like you have to fall into black. And I think it's just like, then so when Tyler comes over here like I'm not black, I'm colored, which is already so triggering to like black American ears, because it's like, girl, don't you know about Jim Crow? And it's like, no, I don't.
We have advanced from colored.
Don't call yourself that, but it's again, it's like because of black culture, not because of blackness. Like, we're talking about two very different things. And then it's just like we're just not specific with it, and that becomes the argument.
Yeah.
I guess maybe to end this episode part, not the episode recording, but Rich Wigga, Poor Wigga. I think it was FT Signifier talking about it when they were him, and I think he was talking to Anthony Fantano about rappers that are black but are kind of perceived as white, like maybe Childish Gambino, Logic, Hopsin, whatever. And he was saying like those specific experiences they have where they're talking about being black in a mostly white area, Drake too, that is a black experience. It is specifically a black experience. And like, it's cringe sometimes, but like, it's true. It's real. Life is cringe. Yes. Life is fucking cringe because there's like genocide and stuff every day. So, and to all the mixed dudes out there that are like, what do I do? Just don't be weird about it.
Yeah.
It's that simple. As a fellow
make
mixed
peace
boy,
within yourself,
just don't be
dog.
weird. Just make peace with yourself. You black, bro. That's it.
You black and you white. It's okay. Like it's okay
you black
to be
and
both.
You white, but nigga, you are black.
Yeah. Or as the people
here's
on the panel would
rule.
say, you are white. You are white.
Whatever the cops, if the cops are looking for you, what are they gonna call you? That's probably what you are.
Yeah, you should definitely, I feel like, have at least that type of understanding, at least of how you're perceived in the world. Like, sure, like, feel how you want to feel about yourself, like, on the inside, but also have an understanding, at least, of how you're perceived. Because it's like, yeah, if it's fine to walk around like, I am both. Like, that's great. But it's like, don't be confused when someone is racist towards you because they see you as black. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Or don't be confused when I'm just like, and in the reverse, when something's happening not to you and somebody is trying to relate to you and you're like, well, that's never happened to me, so I don't understand why that's a problem. Understand that you look white because you are look perceived white.
As white. It goes both ways.
You are white.
The biracial angst. That's what I'm saying. There you go. That's the struggle. Wow, we're going to continue on with, I guess, this topic of race in our next episode. Segment.
Yeah, I mean, that feels like a good transition into Watchmen, actually.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, is the order still, we can go into Parable and the King, I feel like, I don't know.
There's no real... We make the things up as we go. Follow the chain of pleasure.
I guess because we can end with the question, I guess, too. I honestly need you to... I understand what happened in the Parable and the King, or the Pirate and the King, but it was... I mean, I obviously have watched Random Acts of Flyness.
Yeah. I'm like, it's every episode is so dense. Like, there's just like so much.
They're so dense. Every episode becomes a video essay. Sometimes.
Yes.
Here's what I'm realizing. Can we just talk about that? I'm like, I need someone to talk to this about me or talk to this with me. I'm sorry.
Get on this
the
soapbox.
episode made me so jumbled, and I realized so we're gonna talk about Random Acts of Flyness. I'm saying this for like the episode. This is Sonny's pick. I just need to preface. I think I'm like, my opinion of Terrence Nance's films, I'm like realizing like, do I not like Terrence Nance?
I see.
Do you not like Terrence Nance, or do you not like the work that Terrence Nance makes you do?
I like the work. I think there's it's not that I don't like Terrence Nance. I actually love Terrence Nance.
Yeah.
I love Random Acts of Flyness. Listen, it's not that I don't like it. I think I just get mad when niggas take Black Panther super serious.
Why?
Because I like Black Panther. I think it's a good movie. It's one of the best of the Marvel movies. I want us to have a better movie.
Damn, Black Panther out here catching strays. We ain't even talking about that.
We kind of needed to catch strays. It kind of needs.
I want to know the reasoning so that way I could feel.
The Marvel movies uphold the status quo, and Black Panther is no exception.
I feel like because Black Panther is very unique and special in the fact that it's one of its kind. It
for sure
takes the brunt of the criticism. And it's like,
sure. Absolutely.
We don't tell stories like this or not like this enough to begin with. And so it's like, I get it. It's like, I get it. I get the criticism of like, it upholds like classism and elitism and like this mashup of African identity and culture. I think that's all very, very valid. But also I think Black Panther is great. Like, I'm like, I can hold both because it's like, I don't have many movies like where I can just see like a cool black ass superhero not rooted in like white savior or like let's save the white people, like not rooted in that at all and just focused on like black people and blackness. I'm like, I don't get that movie enough. And so it's like, yeah, Black Panther's cool. But
yeah.
The criticisms
And I also hear the idea that like this could be a whole FD signifier breakdown, because I'm like, he also talked about Black Panther while trying to explain Patrice Lumumba and also the Divine Nine.
Gosh.
So I'm just like,
no, I saw that episode. It was great. Even then, I love that. I love that designifier. I love that episode. I genuinely thought that was a great analysis. But even motherfucking then. Here's the problem. I also love this movie. I saw it twice. I love the soundtrack. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. I cried when he died. I don't give a fuck about celebrities, and I cried when that man died. Mm-hmm. And
sad.
Killmonger is the best Marvel villain.
Is he a villain?
He's not even a villain.
But just like in terms of antagonist in the movie,
yes.
He is the best antagonist in a Marvel film.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know why it bothers me, because I do love that movie. I loved it for a long time, but now I'm just like, I want us to talk about something.
Yeah, it's because it's the only one.
That's why I think I love that we get Black Panther 2. I was really excited for the rest of the franchise because I'm like, okay, we did one for the culture and now we get to tell the story. And that feels fun. But I understand. To bring this back to Random Acts of Flyness being crossed out in just acts of flyness.
Apologies.
This is a thick, dense ass show. Yes, we love it. We love the culture. We love the video analysis. There is nothing on the internet about this show. Like, you know how easily after watching any of these movies you can go break some of them down. You know, Murder in Harlem was a little hard. I mostly just got one black man talking to a room full of white people, and the questions were just like, I can't believe they didn't treat them bad because they were black. And I'm just like, what is happening? But here I feel like I think most people are struck with the same thing of just like, what am I really consuming? Like,
where do I start?
It probably took us a good 3 years to keep digesting so that we were ready for season 2, and then you flipped it on its head completely. But at the same time, I do think they tried to set you up, and then this one, I think the whole season is like progressively trying to it's like show and tell. So at first they were showing you this is the concept of like living in different dimensions, different worlds, experiencing space and time at as random as we do your like stream of conscious on an Instagram reel, or like you're scrolling through TikTok and you're receiving all this information. And now they're like, you're doing that because you're experiencing all of life on different planes, and there's different parts of you that are just like taking in information from different places because of memories, because of dreams, because of an ancestor that is whispering to you in a different timeline. Like it's like concepts that I think we all kind of think about, but then somebody who's actively trying to show you what that is. But I'm like, that's a lot. That is a lot to try to take in. And that's where they're like, okay, let's do it. Episode 1, this is the first dimension. Episode 2, this is the second dimension. Episode 3. And so, yeah, by the time we get to here to episode 5, the 5th dimension, and we're experiencing multiple timelines all at the same time, like but 2 people who are on the same plane to be able to do that. But also 2 people who navigate it completely differently. We have a pirate and a king, and that's what this one is breaking down a little bit. But I think that's what's exciting to me, is to talk to y'all about this, because we get to like be the people to break it down, because nobody else took the challenge, and maybe that's why there's no season 3.
I mean, I think there's no season 3 because, again, like season 1, like Terrence Nance, give me 3 years to digest and process like what this is. Like season 1, we watched season 1 so many times, like so many times. Even still, it's like I can go put it on now, and I'm still gonna like be figuring and solving things out, and solving things. Yeah, so it's like I don't need him to deliver me season 3 anytime soon. Like give me another year or 2 still to sit with this show and process what I'm seeing, because this shit, it's just packed so heavy, and it's so dense. So much is flashing before your eyes. Like there's music, and there's speaking, and then there's words on the screen all saying different things, and it's like you're trying to like just take it all in, and it's so much. I think it's great. Like I love it. I love Terrence Nance. Shout out to him. I think he's an interesting, weird, wacky individual. But yeah, the pirate and the king.
How would you describe this to a homie in a bar?
All right, so just this episode, because we're not discussing the season.
Right, just the episode.
What's up, homie? We in a bar, and let me tell you about this episode. And there's this couple who they're expecting a child together, but they're not together. Like there's some stuff happening where they're not like fully in this relationship, but like they do care about each other, so it's not like, bad terms, but they not in a relationship. Terrence Nance's character, I don't remember his name. Terrence
Nance.
Okay. His family, I think, is like they have like a plantation in Central Texas that
he just inherited,
and the family is trying to decide if they want to sell it or not, or make it into a museum. Like they're kind of split on what to do with it. In another dimension, a homegirl, Nyjah, is that her name? Nyjah.
Nyjah.
Her family also owns a plantation that they actively live in, but in Liberia. They are colonizers in Africa, because Terrence Nance also gives you a history lesson about like the history of Liberia and how it came to be. And like, if you don't know, right before the Civil War, the black population was growing, becoming too large. The free black population specifically, white people were nervous. They said, what if I give you money to send you back to Africa and y'all can start over there? People took it because it's like, y'all suck over here, so why not? We'll go colonize over there. And so they literally like colonized and like took land away from like that indigenous population and oppressed them. And like it's like if you're in Liberia, it's like everyone has like a name like Andrew Johnson. Like it's weird to be in Africa, and it's like, what's your name? And it's like, oh, my name is Mary Lewis. But yeah, everyone's name is like that. But yeah, so that's their family. Like, so they're like the colonizers. They have this plantation house, and like they have like hired help who are like the indigenous people of the land. And I think that they want to sell their house or something, or should. But also, we like pop into another dimension, I guess, where Terrence Nance tells us the like parable of like the king and the pirate, and you have the king who is like, you know, king, think like Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Bill Gates, you know, like these people, these really powerful people who have like built their power and their influence like systematically, and you know, are very, I feel like are very more like lawful. Like if you have like lawful and chaos, it's like they're on like the lawful end of like they follow the rules a little bit more and are more structured, but they're powerful and they like sit on top of like the people below them, but like that power can like go at any moment, like it's so precarious. And then you have the pirate who is like Prince and Steve Jobs, and Terrence Nance says he's a pirate. He also claims Solange. I'm like, you trying to put some beef in between Solange and Beyonce. I don't appreciate that. But also he's like cool with Solange. They friends. But
she does seem to fit the archetype.
Yeah, I was like, you're not wrong. But that they're like more like carefree. Like they're not, it's like they're chasing power, but at the same time they're not chasing like that power. Like they're chasing like the power of like freedom, of like the universe. Like they're not as like structured, but they're like just as like ambitious and as hungry as like the king. You know, king is Martin, the pirate is Malcolm. You know, it's like all of these names that he's throwing out, and just to get to the point of saying like they need each other, like these things balance each other out, is very much like giving the force. You know, like you need both in order for there to be balance, and like they feed off of one another. And yeah, that's this episode. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, Naja is the king and Terrence is the pirate.
Yes.
And I guess the thing I didn't like that actually annoyed me is like I connected the Black Panther thing to him bringing up Bill Gates and Steve Jobs in the conversation. Don't bring up Bill Gates specifically around these niggas, bro. Even if you're going to talk about people of power, like, I don't know. I just don't like any sort of worship of power.
Mm-hmm. Is it worship of power by bringing him up? Like, or is he just being subjective or objective, rather?
He might be. I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, I get the sentiment. I get like the more like metaphorical thing. It's not literal, but it's just like when you put those guys in there, specifically Bill Gates, someone like Bill Gates muddies the thing.
Say more.
Because I just feel like you're making these parables and they're mostly positive. And there's one that maybe at the time, I don't think anybody liked Bill Gates at that time either. But like he's got just like weird power and influence, and all those celebrities do. But like most of them have like a positive outlook on or positive effect on the world. And Bill Gates is like very much tied to Jeffrey Epstein.
Bill Gates has some weird beliefs. He does have some very weird beliefs. But at the same time, it's like he also like gives out like crazy amounts of scholarship money, like wild amounts of scholarship money.
I'm like, so I have a friend who went to Howard on a Bill Gates scholarship. Undecided. I'm like,
yeah,
how'd you get
like
a full fucking ride and didn't know what you were doing?
And didn't even know what you want to do. And it's like things like that.
Shit out. He's fucking,
you know, and he's one of the people who's pledged to do that. He's like one of the people who's pledged to like give all his money away, like when he dies, like his children, he's like not leaving his kids anything. So I'm like, I don't know who the hell Bill Gates is. Like I'm like, he has some weird truth and there's some weird whispers around him, but also there's like also this stuff happening. I'm like, this is a weird dude. When you have a lot of money, you get weird, I think. So,
and I think that not all pirates or kings are good people, you know.
Yes.
Like I think there's something to even this idea of like, let's talk Kendrick and Drake as like a pirate and a king. I'm like, Drake is definitely the king here because he has worked his way up through the system, didn't necessarily need the approval of the people, even though he had it, you know, like Drake is a popular king. But there's still like some shit that goes along with it. And then you have Kendrick here who is still working with Drake, working with the king, working hand in hand, working the system, the seas, but then still is off rogue and doing what he needs to do to get his power and truth out there. So I'm just like, I think to put him in the list, to have Bill Gates and Steve Jobs here is just to like make the clear analysis for people, not to necessarily platform them
Equate
as
it
like
to good or bad.
Yes.
I get it. I just hate them.
Heard.
I'm sorry if that's like juvenile or like it's like me purposely misreading the text. I just like, I don't know. I feel like that's weird. I do love
It
like
just
the
be
stuff
like
where
that.
like it just be like that, and I really did like how this episode looked, except for like the weird green screen stuff that weirded me out. The show always looks strange. But like when it comes to like the, because they're also, a big thing about it is they're also coders. They code games.
Yes, yes.
They're like these earthy, rich black people that code video games, and they're coding this like experimental black history game, which I like. Terrence Nance dances with these like weird little game stuff in all of Random Acts of Flyness, and I'm like, can you release a game, please?
I know. I want it so bad.
Like, even if it's the weirdest fucking thing, even if it's like barely playable, can you just release it so I can play it?
So I can play this
I
game.
want to do it really bad.
I'm like somebody that was consuming all of this content at kind of the same time. I'm just like, I really wanted like the game of blackness, like how to navigate the black experience, and that's why I've written a whole play about it. But I'm just like, something about that mixed with like the panel that you see in Atlanta of just like, can you answer the trivia questions, but also can you walk the walk, can you talk the talk, and then what happens when you break through that wall, like now that you are in the black dimension, how do you navigate it, how do you use the resources, the lineages that you have access to, like. And I think that's what's so cool about season 2 of Random Acts of Flyness, or Acts of Flyness, because it's not random anymore. That is just truly what these two people are. They are people who have full access and navigation to like to race, to age, to time, to space. And these are just like the pockets that they are that they have chosen for themselves. They walk like a sort of linear progressional path, but that also just kind of like turns off into like its own different pockets of space-time.
I do think that it felt like this season was very much like a prequel to that first season. Like, again, where that first season was all random and we are like flying in and out of all of these different dimensions. And then this season feels very much like, all right, we're going to set you up more so you can understand all of this like randomness. And it feels like that storyline of Terrence and like Nyjah are like the clothesline, really, that we're hanging all of this stuff off. Like, that's the thing that we can hang on to try to get an understanding of what we are watching, and how like all of this stuff applies is like by trying to pay attention to what's happening there. But yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, it is so crazy.
Yeah, because
wild.
Also to even think about the parallel of the two of them, like in their land ownership, like you both inherited these pieces of land, but from ancestral lines that you didn't necessarily ask to be connected to, that you can't really access above you, but you get to choose as like parents and carers of the next generation, like how you want to move. And I think when you get into the next episode and they even talk about like, okay, now that we're discussing the land, what about the name? Like, what is the name that we're even carrying with us? Like, what is the legacy that you inherit, and then what do you do with it next? One more question, and then we could switch to our next segment. Why do you think I brought this dish to the table? Why this episode?
Well, one, I know you, and as soon as like I started getting into like the video essay mode, I'm like, oh yeah, this is some sunny shit, like a motherfucker. Sorry, I'm just trying not to curse as much, and I mean that beautifully. Like, as soon as I started getting into like the, like, what is this? I was like, yep. I don't know. I just think because it's asking like that question, and I think I don't know. I like, it's like what obviously, like, which one are you? Which one do you want to be? Is there a favorite artist of yours that like you think is one of these that it wasn't mentioned? I like how much he's gassing up Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
I do think Frank Ocean, I mean, everybody fucking loves Frank Ocean. I'm not going to say anything, preach to the choir. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. I just feel like this episode asks questions I feel like you ask. I feel like you're a person that asks these big questions, and using media he uses, like, I don't know. I feel like, for me, knowing you personally, I feel like I don't have anything thing to say about like the text about why you chose this. I just know you personally are always thinking in this sort of mindset, I feel like.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, this episode has like a lot of ideas and it's giving a lot of information all at once. And it's like, I think like this idea, I think that you brought it because you are a person very drawn to the idea of like multiple dimensions and like Black people specifically living in multiple dimensions, and that's exactly what this is. And like us going through all of these portals of like different types of Blackness. Like, again, I thought it was so fun for them to play with the idea of like having this plantation house in Central Texas versus this version of you that has this like plantation house in Liberia, and like, you know, just like the similarities and the differences of like what that means, what that is, and how, like, you know, like what is colonization. I think that is like wonderful. I think that's a wonderful example of colonization. I think for Black people to understand, if they don't, like, if this is something that they struggle to understand, I think a lot of people don't know about Liberia, and it's like, if you are told about it, like, this is what happened and this is what went down, and it's like, oh, you know what this sounds like. So it's like, you know, I think that it was a wonderful. I think that Terrence Nance is like phenomenal at starting conversations and getting people to think differently about things without like passing judgment. Like, I don't think that he passes judgment in this at all. I think it's very much still just like, think about this, think about it like this. Have you ever thought about it this way? Like, why do you think this? Like question your beliefs. Like, so yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I agree with all of those things. I definitely see us as like multi-dimensional beings, and I've had a cool life questioning and trying to discover what that means, and I think it's cool to see art that also is trying to like break down such larger concepts, because I'm always curious about like, what is the purpose of the story that you're telling, like, why this way, why this audience, and even why this medium. So to go from Random Acts of Flyness, where the first time I feel like watching it, I was like, I felt brainwashed. I was like, I feel like I just got something and I didn't know what it was. Like, even like the blackface flashes, I'm like, you are trying to condition my brain to see black faces as black faces.
As black faces.
And so to get to this season, to like fully try to break down how these folks are experiencing things, this feels like the episode that is like, okay, now that you understand how metaphysical movement works, now we can actually talk about the concept of holding these ideas in multiple space times. Like, what does legacy, ancestry, colonization look like for these two Black bodies in these spaces? And notice that we're navigating these conversations through these two perspectives, specifically a king and a pirate. And so also just like breaking down what that is for you, so that way when you get to the next stage of just like, okay, now this is what you've inherited, now what do you do? Who do you choose? What do you want to do when you step forward? I don't know, it just feels like really powerful and kind of like the steps to unlocking oneself. But this also feels like the turning point of just like identifying who you are today before you get to choose where you want to be tomorrow, you know?
Yes. Agreed.
But that's Acts of Flyness.
Yes.
And let's slide it on over to Watchmen now.
Hey. Watchmen. We three were all alone. Hey, even in a memory. I'm actually kind of sick of hearing the ink blots because of Fallout. Fallout just came out, so then it's the show.
Oh, also. Yes, it is a TV show now. It's on Amazon.
And I mean, obviously the ink blots are basically the soundtrack to Fallout. So it's just also, God, that specific album they have, all of the songs start like this. Boom, 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 boom.
They said that's the
boom,
producer
boom.
tag. Like, what do you mean?
But like but they all go like this. They all go like, I go to the store, da da da, and then halfway through the song, a guy goes, "Honey, I go through the store." He just says the lyrics again, and then they go. It's like every song is structured the same. It's funny. I don't know. I love the Inkblots. I don't want to set the world on fire. Anyway, does someone want to explain what this is? Well, it's hard to explain the context of this episode, but it kind of could exist on its own. There's little moments that keep it in the season.
Yes.
This shit could be a short film.
It could be.
Yes.
I think it's my turn, right?
Yes. Please, Sonny.
Okay, so this episode of Watchmen is also a black and white episode. But we get Regina, who has been on this wild ass goose hunt trying to uncover like the murder of her best friend, who is a cop, and
she's also a cop.
She is also a cop, but like a vigilante of sorts, because she has officially quit the police force, but is like still working with the cops like under a different name.
Superheroes are essentially cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a promoted cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and if you on the cop calls, you doing cop business, it's just when they're not paying you, you're not on the payroll. Or that you probably are. That's a great question. Is she getting paid?
I think you are.
I think they are technically paid.
Yeah, I think they are employed.
Damn. Okay. So anyway, but there's a vigilante hunter that is like chasing after her because she is a suspect in this murder. And so she takes these memory pills as she is about to like be detained, because she's in the police office, and they got her. They're like, you did some illegal shit, now we're about to arrest you, like fucking cops, even though you've been working with us and you are clearly just talking to somebody about the things that you were doing. But this was also like unofficial cop business for her, unofficial cop business that she was talking to Metalhead. Anyway, this is just the precursor. So she takes these memory pills. These memory pills are not hers, they are her grandfather's. And by taking them all at once, she is now kind of putting herself back into his life and like re-experiencing everything that he has gone to. So now take us to Tulsa, Oklahoma, back when the Tulsa massacre is fucking happening. And we are little granddaddy in a chair at a movie theater as his mother is like playing the music away as he's watching Bass Reeves, the first black sheriff of Oklahoma, save this town. And then he kind of gets like taken out into the Tulsa massacre, because this is their time to leave. And also at the time, Tulsa massacre is just not like a well-known fact. So apparently like right after this episode of Watchmen like dropped, that the first Google search is the Tulsa massacre real? And the answer is fucking yes, y'all. Yes it was. But now we get to see like what that actually looks like. It's a bloody murderous night of Klan and white people shooting the black civilians on the street. So little baby granddaddy and his family are trying to escape. They meet another family. They're in a Jeep. They roll out to find out that nobody makes it except for him and another baby. And so it's like this 5-year-old who's like carrying a small child.
Baby.
Yeah, a true baby swaddled in an American flag. Into the next town to like start a life. And so then we kind of get to watch his whole life unfold, where he and baby have now grown up and are romantic partners. They are like married. He is, I don't remember what happens in between, but let's just say that he becomes his own vigilante of sorts. He's a cop. He's a cop first. That's what it is. Yes, he's a cop first. But he's a black cop in Tulsa, and so not Tulsa, but somewhere else in Oklahoma.
No, they're like in New York or something, aren't they?
New York. Like, okay, so there we go. I was like, yes,
I think they're in the South.
Are they still in the South? They're not in Oklahoma. Like they left and they're in the city.
Right. It's a different.
I thought
city.
It was New York.
I swore they were still somewhere in Oklahoma, just not Tulsa. But New York makes a lot more sense, just because of the city alleyways. Because dude who is cop now is now starting to discover some mysterious shit. He's trying to arrest criminals, and the cops are letting the criminals go. And so he's like, what the fuck is going on? But it's like they're starting to give each other these signals, kind of like they're cyclone signals. But what is a cyclone? He will discover that over his lifetime. And so, yeah, he's starting to investigate like what is all of the shenanigans that are happening within the police force. And he kind of discovers that they are just like a white supremacist group that is like working with the police officers, and they're called the Cyclones. They're trying to use like mind control to brainwash the people and get them to do whatever they want to do. Oh no, actually, to brainwash Black people. Yes, to incite violence, like to really make Black on Black crime a thing, because they are being brainwashed into believing that they should attack other Black people. Yes, he's doing his investigation. They find out. They say stop looking into it. They try to hang him. Which, how the fuck did we get that camera view of just like actually being lifted up and dropped? It's breathtaking. And then
that was a cool shot.
It was, but then he like walks home with the noose around his neck and the bag still in his hand. And he sees like a white couple being attacked, and so he puts on the hood, saves them. Yeah. And then goes home, tells his wife what's going on, and he decides then that he's got to continue to like figure this shit out. And so then he continues as Hooded Justice. He starts painting his eyes white, because they're like, if anybody knows that you're a Black man doing this, then it's gonna be a fucking problem. And then time goes on. He's a vigilante, still a cop, I guess, all at the same time. They have a kid. Yeah, the kid is now watching him like put on the mask every day, and starts to think that it's cool. He wants to be just like his daddy, and so he kind of like freaks out on him. And then his wife takes the kid and is like, "You're not gonna put your hands on my child." And they leave. And so
go back to Tulsa.
Yeah, exactly. They go back to Tulsa, and he gets to live his life fucking Captain America. I know, it's another superhero. He finds somebody who
Captain Metropolis.
Metropolis, there you go. Blonde hair, blue-eyed man, who was also trying to be a superhero, and they become lovers. But he still won't let him like unhood himself. He doesn't let him kind of claim to do all of the things that he does. He won't let him take full credit for who he is and what he's doing, because Mr. Metropolis over here thinks that he knows best. And
he sees the theater. There's a theater massacre.
Take it from there.
There's a big accident that he gets called in on, and he gets called into the scene because it's like all the white cops are there, and then like, hey, they only talk to Black people. And so he goes into the theater, and it's like all these Black people have been like murdered, and like they've killed each other in the middle of this theater. And so he asks like one of the women, she's like sitting there crying. He's like, what's going on? And she was like, there was a flash of light, and I just heard this voice in my head that was telling me to hurt people and do bad things. And so then he like sees like somebody carrying this weird ass projector camera out of the theater, and so he follows them, and he sees them like pack it up, and he sees like where they go. So when he calls his homie Captain Metropolis and is like, hey yo, you need to bring in the team, like I think something's going on here, like they got some weird camera, they're doing stuff. Captain Metropolis is like, I don't give a fuck about Black people, homie, like good luck, but if you want to slide through, like come through. And he's like, dog, like I'm trying to really like, you know, save these people, like they're killing Black communities, they're hurting Black people. And Captain Metropolis is just like, I don't give a fuck, come suck my dick if you want to, bye. So then he like goes in, and he basically like he kills this like white dude that like he had trouble with like earlier in the episode, and he like kills everyone in there as like the Hooded Justice. And then we like flash back to like present day grandpa, who is now in a wheelchair, and we see Regina King's character, her homie, the white police captain man, and he tells him like he has like this flashing light thing, and he flashes it in the white cop's face, and it's like, hang yourself. And so like dude goes and hangs himself before revealing like that was his grandpa, like the white dude we saw back in the day. Like they all are like in the Klan, and it's his like legacy and his heritage and all this. But yeah, so really, so like the whole series is building like who killed this white man, and it's like the answer is technically he killed himself because Grandpa like had the flashing light. And so that's when Regina King like comes out of this like crazy memory trip and is like, oh no. But she like wakes up. When she wakes up, she's like in this room with this Asian woman, and it's like, who are you? And that's how the episode ends.
Yeah.
Crazy episode.
Yeah, you guys explained it pretty well.
Oh yeah, this episode was written by Cord Jefferson, who just won an Academy Award for American Fiction Best Screenplay.
Written by
Cord
Do we have
Jefferson
the conversation
and
already?
Damon Lindelof.
We talked a little bit about it at some point because
There's some sus stuff about like David Lindelof kind of mostly wrote all of the show and then kind of gave a bunch of black. I don't even know if this could be kept in because I don't know if it's a true fact, but kind of like they didn't want to just give a white guy credit for writing the entire show. So like they had notes for people and then they just gave people like if Cord Jefferson wrote this episode, like for sure, that's awesome. But there's some speculation that's not fully the case. And I'm not trying to not give Cord Jefferson his flowers because this is awesome TV. It's just that's just weird tea that I don't know if it's just internet being internet.
Yeah.
I mean, it could partially be true because I kind of heard that's what happened with 20s is like writers are writing episodes and then Lena Waithe is like, I'm gonna just rewrite it. But
yeah, that happens a lot actually. Yeah.
I will say, so I know I'm yapping a bunch, I'm sorry. But here's the thing, I'm a huge comic book fan, I'm a huge TV fan, and I'm a black person. And all of those things for this. So let's go into like history, right? Bass Reeves was a real person. And do we know who Bass Reeves? They made a show based on Bass Reeves. Do we know what the show is called?
No.
It's called The Lone Ranger.
Oh. I was like, my dad was into cowboys, so I don't know.
What's the thing about the Lone Ranger? What's different about Lone Ranger and Bass Reeves?
I'm assuming it's a white man.
Yes. And the parallel of Hooded Justice on TV being a white man and Hooded Justice in real life being a black man, being a black vigilante like Bass Reeves essentially was. Also the parallel, also like the black people start everything. Like he's like the whole little superhero group has started because he was lynched and just decided to still be a hero. And also just the as a fan of comic book stuff, it's like, how do they get the costume? How do they do this? How do they do that?
And this
like,
gave you everything.
It gave you everything, and it's like a cool reason. It's like he gets lynched and he has like a cover on his face, and he wants to fight crime, but he doesn't want to get be assaulted for being black again. So he literally puts the mask back on and covers his eyes, and he has the costume like so Hooded Justice is in Watchmen lore, and he's never been portrayed as black. They never say he's black. I think even in some things you hear a German accent sometimes,
which is weird because dude is wearing a noose.
Well, I think the vibe was supposed to be executioner. Originally, and they kind of, which is so smart to be like, oh, he was just lynched.
I was like, yeah, maybe that's my Black American culture trigger because I didn't know this comic book culture lore or anything. So like seeing that character with a noose around his neck, I was always just like, this feels wrong, like something that we should dissect a little bit more. So when we get to this episode, I'm like, that makes fucking sense. And I was like, and of course, like the world is continuing to like keep this character as a white person because he himself also like painted himself to be a white person and I'm sure never revealed his actual identity, so why would anybody assume otherwise? It just all clicked for me. Sorry.
and I think too it's because I think part of it too it's because is that like that's the idea of that like David said, like black people start everything, and this mantle of the Hooded Justice was like eventually like stolen by like this white guy. And that was like the because we have that scene where it's like it's the hooded justice being interrogated by like the police or whatever, and they're talking about like
blackmail.
We got blackmail. Yeah, like we got blackmail on you, and like we're gonna take off your hood and take a picture of you to reveal your identity in order for you to like do what we want you to do. And when they take off his hood, it's this white dude. It's not even like Will Reeves hooded justice. I'm like, this episode was crazy just because this is like a believable superhero story. I feel like in so many, like in comic book lore, when we get that like origin story of like how people became this vigilante, became this hero, it's always so like, I don't know, there's always like an element to it where it's just like, okay, I guess. But this is like, no, this is this real dude who was a victim of almost being lynched. I mean, he was lynched. They just cut him down and he didn't die. And now he's trying to like, you know, protect essentially black people and avenge what like his people and what happened to him, and also like this like the massacre that he witnessed as a small child. Like he never got any justice for that either. And then you have that moment where like his wife like tells him like, you're an angry man, Will Reeves, like you are angry as fuck, dog. And he's like, this is in the past, and it's like, that's why you so angry, like you don't let any of that out. And this is supposed to be like Regina King's character, like the story of her grandfather, and like her story already is like she was like in Vietnam, like in this timeline America won the Vietnam War and colonized Vietnam, and so she was like living in Vietnam. That's where she was born, and I don't even think she knew her real family. I think she's like adopted or something, and so she doesn't even know like the truth behind her family. And then this is also a world too where like black people have gotten reparations, and how like in Tulsa specifically, like they have a whole community center where you can go in and get your genealogy done, and it be determined like if you had any ancestors like that were in the Tulsa massacre, and like how much money or like what type of reparation you should receive. Like this is a wild timeline of a universe that they are also existing in as well.
She does know her parents, though.
Does she know her parents? I'm like, they either like died really young or something.
They
like,
died at her birthday party.
Oh yes,
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, and then she's like adopted by her grandma or something.
Yeah.
Well, no, she's not even, because she goes to the orphanage. Her grandma comes to pick her up and then dies literally like as they're getting in the car to drive.
That's
to the
right.
airport.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's been a while.
I just rewatched everything, and so I'm like, brain is like fresh. And because I'm also like, technically, I'm like, Dr. Manhattan won the Vietnam War. He just came in and just like killed a bunch of people and said, that's it.
But it worked for America's advantage because America has now like colonized Vietnam.
Well,
and like,
it's like Guam.
Yeah, it's like Guam. And like, I'm like, this Watchmen series is already like so crazy because like, Watchmen is already a thing. Like Alan Moore, like the comic book and the movie, like they were already a huge thing, and they have this own world. And it's like, it's not even like this show is like a reimagining of it. It's just like this is like the truth. It's like they peeled back the layers of it, and it's like, this is the real lore of the show, which is so already like wild to me, like that you just created this lore for someone else's thing that already had like this huge like following, and it's great. Like I love it. I know Alan Moore hates it, but I think it's great.
I don't think he hates it that much. I think he just doesn't like I don't know. He's a weird guy because he's like, yeah, it sucks, but it's like, well, you sold the rights and you're making millions of dollars.
Exactly.
So fuck off.
You know what I mean?
But he did say recently, he was like, I want all of my proceeds from now on to go to Black Lives Matter.
That's great.
Oh,
that's like Alan Moore is like very kind of radical.
I mean, he's Irish. You know, it's an Irish man.
Is he Irish? I thought he was British.
Yeah, I thought he was Irish.
I thought he had like a deep British accent.
Okay, I don't know.
There is a lot of those Scottish Irish guys, like the Boys Writer. I forget his
name. He is United Kingdom, Northampton.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's England. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry then, because that's
no.
offensive.
You're good. But I think the thing that the show does well, this episode included, is like with that, like Alan Moore, like what you're saying, like, I feel like it understands the text of Alan Moore well. Like, okay, so so Alan Moore does a comic in Watchmen, and Watchmen does a show within a show. And then it does, it understands like Watchmen is about politics of the time. So the comic is about like the politics of the late and early 80s of like post-Vietnam, Cold War, you know, crack epidemic, all these things. And this is like, an alternate effect of like, I listened to a podcast and they were talking about like, well, what is the biggest political thing you could talk about in America specifically? And they're like, race. Race is ultimately the number one political thing you could talk about.
America. Yeah.
And yeah, I think that was very smart. And I think I remember when they announced a miniseries, I was like, oh, they're gonna do a miniseries of the comic. Cool, I'll watch that. And I was down, and I would still be down for that. However, this is what we got, and I love it, and I'm glad it's only one season. It shouldn't be more than one season.
I was so ready for season 2.
No,
I understand that, but I think it would have been dumb. I think they would have dumbed it. Because there was parts that were almost getting dumb. I'll admit it. And I don't want to get into nitpicky on because that's like I would have to rewatch the whole show.
Yeah. I'm like, but do you remember when Morgan like put out that tweet? And she had like, it was like a picture of America divided in half. And basically, instead of like states, the regular state names, it was like different new names of certain states or like cities. And basically, she was basically trying to say that like season 2 was going to talk about like an American Civil War, and like what the breakdown of that next life would have looked like. And I was just like, I feel robbed. I feel like they probably saw this shit and said, that's too radical. Just kidding. We don't want you to do that.
Possibly. I just also do think Watchmen, any adaptation of Watchmen should be like an insular story and shouldn't go too long. Just because it is like supposed to be like and that is the pin on that. And not to say that a long show couldn't do that, but this superhero stuff, Watchmen's great, but the thing that makes Watchmen, the comic, so well is that, like, it's not an action comic at all. It's all dialogue and drama and gross, visceral human stuff. And I think this one does that good, too, but the action is great. Speaking of action, the little one-take fights to jazz drums in this episode, like when he first puts on the mask and it's just a one shot, just boom, din, 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 and he's just bare knuckle fighting all these dudes in the alley. Awesome. And then when it's a lot of cool one take shot, a lot of cool action, one take fight action that isn't like karate. It's just like throwing dudes into the wall, brute force, just and he looks all buff and his like. And sorry, I'm just going to geek out for a second. He has a weird parallel to Batman and Superman. Like he has this kind of night Batman aesthetic, but then, this guy is reading Action Comics #1, which is Superman. And he's like, it's about a boy who gets sent away by his father of a blowing up planet. And like that connection to like, that like almost made me cry weirdly. I was just like that's Krypton. Like Tulsa is Krypton. Yeah. It was this black utopia almost, this black Wall Street, and it was blown up, and his father sent him away to like be a hero for great things, for safety, and it was beautiful. And the cinematography is awesome. The transitions, the shots where like he's explaining a movie to his wife and the fucking movie projects behind them, or when he's talking about the first time they met and they're in black and white, and the memory is in the closet behind them in color. Like that stuff can be really corny very easily, and it was awesome, and it was a comic book.
Yes, I'm like this episode was so crazy. I'm like they were doing so much with this episode, and they were trying to peel back so much. I like think too how like intersectional this episode was. Like we were talking about this black male masculine figure superhero character, but like he's also gay. You know what I mean? Or at least bisexual. Like, it's like, it was like they were, and he's sensitive, and it's so complex. Like it's just so complex. Like they were doing so much with this episode. Like I'm like they're just juggling so there's so much, and it's handled so well, and it makes sense for this character. Like it doesn't feel, none of it feels like none of it feels like too gimmicky. I'm like, this feels like a really real human. Like Will Reeves feels very real, and like this is his life, and it makes me understand the things that he does, to the point where like, when we get to the end and then the big reveal that it's like him that told dude to hang himself, it's like, oh, I see how we got here, you know.
And I was listening to the writers talk about how, like, you know, they were saying, like, okay, so, like, Batman would probably be the least likely to need justice, right, as a superhero. Like, if he was a rich kid, if his parents were basically the Andrew Carnegie of the city, and they were murdered, that justice would be found immediately.
Yes.
But who
justice
would need
is found.
justice? Or who would want justice? Who would be seeking justice, and who would need to not just be a cop? Maybe a black cop in the racist South in the 50s or 30s or whatever. Yeah, again, I don't know if it's in New York or not, but shout out to the lead actor, Javon Adepo. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. He's awesome. He's also in a movie called Overlord. I think he's an awesome actor. I want him in more things. He was an awesome lead in this. This could have been like its own film by itself. It could have, like, you could cut out all of, like, the weird, like, with stuff with Regina King and the ties to the other show, and it'd be still a 10 out of 10. It's awesome. I think the only weird plot hole is he gets jumped by those guys at the beginning pretty easily, and then he's like just super strong afterwards.
Well, I think there's also something to, if you fight back, you know, like, it could get worse. Or like if something happens to them, you are still in trouble.
I guess so. That's true, and that's why. And then he is stronger when that's true, because he puts on the mask, and then he's like, it's kind of like the Peter Parker thing. Peter Parker's pretty shy until he puts on the mask. He's obviously has to deal with fucking being lynched, so he can't fight back, because then they'll be like, he fought us, so we can kill him. But even just like natural self-defense, whatever. But yeah, anyway, and the fucking putting on white eyes as a mask.
Very Batman. You know, Batman does opposite.
But it's like reverse Batman. It's like literally the reverse.
I was like, Batman does opposite. Yeah.
I mean, you guys are like, at least I know Imani specifically, but I know you guys watch that comic book shit, at least semi. How you feel as a black comic book fan watching this? Do we want more Hooded Justice content? I do.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I want more black superhero stories just in general that are all very different. I'm like, Hooded Justice is very different from Black Panther. You know,
which is very different from Miles Morales, which is very different from Storm, which is very different from Ironheart.
And so I'm like, Imani's about to write the Green Lantern. So I'm excited for that one.
I'm not watching it. I'm not writing the Green Lantern. No,
it's the what is her name?
N.K. Jameson?
Yes.
The Far Sector?
Far Sector, yes.
Far Sector is wonderful.
I'm just like, that's a comic book I'm excited to see come to life.
What is it?
Far Sector? You haven't read Far Sector, David?
Nah.
Far Sector, you have to read it. Far Sector by N.K. Jemisin is about a Green Lantern. Her name is Jo Mulligan. She's a black woman from Earth. However, she has been stationed like in the furthest Green Lantern has ever been stationed, like in the universe. It's like she's
I gotta read
in the farthest sector. But this planet that she is on, let's look at this plug for Far Sector. This planet that she is on is it has like 3 species of people. Like one species is very like mammalian. They have like a tail, but they're the closest to humans. Another species is like a plant type species, but they're still humanoid. Like these people all talk to each other. And then the third one is like Data, like personified. Like if Data could be a person, that's what like the third species is. And so they're like, this planet has like 5 trillion people on it. Like it's a disgusting number, and they just had their first murder in like in like 300 years. And the reason why there hasn't been any murder is because like there was this huge war that happened, and after the war they decided that they would alter people's genes so they couldn't have feelings. And so Jo, the Green Lantern, she's the only person on this planet that has feelings. And yeah, it's like a mystery. It's like a true crime mystery, and you're like trying to figure out what's happening. But it's great, and you have to read it because it's amazing.
Thanks for that recommendation. I will check that out ASAP.
Far Sector.
And then when it becomes a feature, watch it take off. So that, and also, and this is where I feel robbed because I'm just like, Regina could have been Dr. Manhattan. Like, what does that look like where everybody's just like, yeah, Dr. Manhattan was a god, but like, what did he do with himself? And I'm just like, if she got to actually step into that world, I'm just like, what would this Black woman do with all of this power?
I'll say this. As soon as that nigga looked at a clock, I said, that nigga Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, truly.
As soon as he looked at a clock, I said, bitch, that's Dr. Manhattan.
That's Dr. Manhattan right there.
You're not fooling me.
He's trying to place himself. He's like, where am I again?
Like, bitch. I know you used to make watches.
Yeah.
Anyway, is there any other thoughts? I mean, we said a lot of kind of big stuff. I mean, it's like...
Yeah. Like, what do all of these shows have in common?
Black people.
Niggas. I do think they do ask. Well, I don't know if Watchmen asks anything. I feel like the other two episodes ask questions. This one is just like.
I think it does. I think that if I were to actually give them all like a theme, I think it is like, what do you do with your inheritance? You know, like whether it be land,
ooh, that's true.
Culture,
that's true.
Yeah.
Like literal memories that you are stepping into. It's just like all three of these are kind of like dealing with the things
identity and inheritance. Yeah,
that's true.
It's very much identity and inheritance, and like what that means, what that looks like. What do you do with it?
Yeah, and like especially like because I mean, obviously there's like the generational trauma thing with like the last one. But yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of it because I honestly kind of tune out when like Regina King's character comes in when I'm watching just that episode because I'm just like, all right, this is like getting into the rest of the show. But you're right. Like, I mean, that is part of like, yeah, like what do you do? Like how you inherit your story, your grandparents' story, and like how you take the past into your current Black life. And like, what period of Black life are you in? Are you a cop in the racist South? I think they are in the South. Are you a cop in the racist South? That has to be
because I'm like, the Cyclones were in Tulsa, and then they became the.
And then Tulsa's the Klan. The Klan.
Yeah, I was like, when he is a cop, he is in New York. Like when he is a cop, he is in New York. Like he starts off in Tulsa after the massacre. They go to New York. When his family leaves him, they go back to Tulsa, and that's like Regina King and her story. They're all in Tulsa. It's just like when he is a cop, he's in New York. Like that's.
You're right. You're right, Imani. He is in New York. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like New York, I guess.
I only thought because it's like, you know, there's that deli that they burned down, and they're like,
I guess so.
It's feeling like the mafia. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, we're in New York.
I mean, they were definitely lynching.
Yeah, I guess I was just like, they were definitely lynching Jewish people in the South big time. So it's just like, but yeah, go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
You know, that train of thought is gone. Whatever.
That's cool. It's cool that we picked these random episodes of TV and that they all are similar.
Yeah, and are you inheriting like your story from like being a Black cop back then and you're a Black cop now in this position of power? Obviously it's an alternate world. Are you inheriting trying to inherit the possible privilege of being Black when you look white and you haven't embraced it until now and you haven't reaped any benefits of either really? Or are you inheriting like this plantation where you're kind of owning land and you also have literal servants of indigenous servants of this land and you're kind of just acting like white people even though you're just Black white people, not saying they're this, but like you're living like Black hippie white people that code and have a bunch of Black servants. Is that what you want? How do you inherit this shit?
Yeah.
And how even Will Reeves, he inherits like his father's being a serviceman and being a hero, and you know, what do you do with that anyway?
And also just like the back to the generational trauma. Oh, this is the thought that kept coming up and disappearing. Imani, to your point of like how intersectional Will's character is, I'm just like the fact that like we're also experiencing all of this through Regina too.
Yes.
So to say that like because David, because you're like, I don't like when she pops up, but I'm like, but she is here to remind you that like she is also holding on to a lot of the same like hurt and pain. Like she's not actively trying to escape these memories in a way, because she is keeping herself back here because something about experiencing that explosion reminds her of her Vietnam explosion. Like the fact that like she didn't know that her great grandfather was a cop, and also like felt rejected by like the life that he had, and so that's why he's stepping into the system to find a way to do better. She too was a cop, and she still believes in the system though. So even though she's like, I'm not safe within it, I could still work with it. And so, something about like putting the mask on top of the mask, but then needing to unveil what are the secrets that are being held behind it. And again, like, what do you do with that next? You know, like now that you've like taken the full journey, now that you've searched all 5 dimensions and you've traveled through space and time and through different bodies, like, what do you do with what that is?
Yeah, I wouldn't mean like I don't like when she pops up. It's more like I'm always watching just that episode, so I kind of like, oh yeah, this tunes into the rest of the show. I don't really care. And I understand like the point of her being there. I also love her character. I also love Regina King.
Regina King.
She is like a fucking. It's like she's like an EGOT without having any of the EGOT.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
The EGOT of our hearts.
Yes.
Anyway, any final thoughts, folks?
My favorite episode of Watchmen is actually the one with her and Dr. Manhattan. I don't know why, I just wanted to share because I'm just like, that feels very similar in the vein of just like traveling through all the space and time.
The first time I saw The Watchmen, I had COVID. Like, I had COVID before the world had COVID. And I was delirious watching this. So it was a time. I had to watch it again. After I felt better, I did go back and watch it again. Because I was like, what did I just watch? But shout out to Watchmen. It's great. I love Atlanta. Love Random Acts of Flyness.
Yeah,
shout out to Black TV. Like, I love Black television, and I wish we got more of it. But you know, I'm glad we got to talk about it. You know, on this podcast where we talk about Black movies. I'm glad we're talking about Black TV as well.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, shout out to Black artists. And pushing the bounds of content, how we consume it, what is worthy of being consumed. I wish people invested more, but also maybe we only need short doses because the world isn't ready for it yet.
Shout out to the director of Euphoria, because that guy's black, right? That was a joke.
Oh.
What?
Anyway, stay black out there.
Yes, thank you. Tell your friends about this podcast. Tell your homies. Tell everybody. Go to the movies and then whisper in your neighbor's ear, like, you should listen to this podcast. Like, tell everyone and rate it and comment and let us know how much you love it.
And shout out to all of our guests who joined us this season. Appreciate all of your thoughts and time. Because finale.
Yes, thank you. Oh, yes. So we shall return after this premieres.
Yep. See you next time.
See you next time.
Good night.
Good night. Good day. Good evening.
Bye.
Sleep, dog.